Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Piglet here once again, and I'm back for some more of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy. So last time we finished up the main game of the game, and today for this episode, folks, is the fact that we're going to be moving on to the extra game of Kirby's Dream Land. As I mentioned earlier during the likes of the last video, is that in order to actually input the code, because if you couldn't tell, is that this game does actually contains you some import codes you want to enter in. Like, for instance, that if you manage to beat your own main game, after when you see that little sequence of how King Dedede got to beat himself up, and then as a result though, there's actually a code that allows you to able to access to extra game. Think of like how it does it in the Mega Drive Sonic games, whenever you're trying to access to the level select screen, or a debug mode or anything like that in the Mega Drive games, specifically Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and possibly Sonic CD, I'm not sure, and I believe Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. So even then, if you ever played those games before, you know exactly how these button combination codes will actually act out. Because the thing is about the extra game is that you need to be able to access to, you can hold down the directional pad up and then A and select at the same time. Because I don't really think you can do it at least just only one press. Because I believe you're going to have to hold down the buttons until you're able to perform that. So even then though, if you've done that, then you would actually jump into the extra game. So, as far as extra game goes, it feels almost exactly, feels a bit similar to how it does in a normal mode of the game. Except the fact that, like, you're going for the exact same stages and everything, and the exact same locations every time. But except a notable difference themselves is that the enemy pattern, especially with the enemies themselves, are a lot harder to deal with this time around. For one noticeable thing about this is that, you know these little mushroom head, enemies that usually pops up in the normal mode of the game, but now it's being replaced as a cupcake, type of, enemy. So even then though, that's the one noticeable thing I must have added for that point right there. And yeah, I don't know if you noticed, guys, is that, I do apologize for the fact that we haven't exactly uploaded everything yesterday. This is probably because I'll explain more details onto the extra games recording session on Kirby's Dream Land, but even then, that it still is pretty short as it is. So even then though, that once I'm able to actually finish the main, entirety of the game, most notably the extra game and all that, what have you. But even then though, that's as far as I can really try and able to discuss upon how this will actually turn out to be. So, but the bosses themselves are pretty much exactly similar, but except that the boss patterns are a little bit more slightly different this time. Because for one thing, in the first boss in the game, Whispy words now starts spitting stuff at you. So even then though, that you're gonna have to watch out for that. And another thing that's worth mentioning though is these little goyles right there. I'm not sure what these spiked ball enemies are known as, for folks, and I've accidentally died from the get-go. That was terrific. I think those goyles are pretty much the worst enemy in this particular difficulty mode, because since they now spawn into those gormos right now, so even then though, not to mention they place those everywhere in the level, not to mention with boss arenas themselves. But the thing is the bad thing about these enemies right over there is that they take a half of your health amount, which even then though, that you do need to be very, very, very cautious when that happens. Especially I've almost died on that particular last Goro right there. Because as a result though, if I manage to die by that Goro, then chances are I'm gonna have to restart the fight again. So even then though, that, you know, I should probably expect it as far as the harder difficulty modes goes. So yeah. And of course, if you probably should mention it right off the get-go though, since I'm going to be playing this on the 3DS eShop download Virtual Console re-release version, not the emulator or a capture card or anything, I'm afraid. But prepare for ourselves a lot of jump cuts in this run-through due to how the fact that I'm going to be constantly save-stating every time, because the bad thing about the that particular point, especially with extra game goes, if you get a game over, you have to do the entire level again. Well, thankfully it wasn't as forgiving as the likes of, I would say Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System or something like that, and especially notable in Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, and possibly, I don't know what's the other game, oh, Super Mario Land for the Game Boy, that you have to go for the entire game all over again. But thankfully though, this game encourages you to able to actually do the entire level again, instead of like going back to the actual, you know, title screen. Oh yeah, there's that one item I completely ignored during the likes of the normal game playthrough. As you can see, I managed to obtain myself my invincibility lollipop, which, as far as you might as well know, think of like the Starman from the Super Mario Bros. Series, in addition to Super Mario Land, in addition to that as well, that it stays you into invincibility for a few seconds. So yeah, that's all I can really discuss upon the invincibility lollipop. So I don't know if it's just only one invisibility lollipop for the majority of the game, because I haven't really discovered a lot of secrets on my own time in it. Ah, shoot. Hi. Okay, so I believe Lololo's boss pattern is a lot more difficult this time, because now his movement has gone way too fast and what have you. So things you're gonna get. Oh, dang it! I'll be right back into the successful attempt. Alright, so here you go with my successful attempt, and I'm hoping I would able to actually just try to hit the projectile right back at him. So, but again, timing is very key on this fight, especially noticeable how the fact that, since as far as this mode suggests extra mode, that, holy cow, this mode is a lot more difficult than I was expecting it. Because these, Goros are literally everywhere in these boss arena battles, and even especially the levels themselves, because even then though, again, it takes your half amount of health off, but not until when we get to the 5th and final stage of the game, which is usually Mount Dedede. Oh my god, you won't expect it to see how I'm going to be discussing for all this, haven't I? Well, I'll get into more details as soon as we get into stage 5, so even then though, that, yeah. Another thing is worth mentioning though is that these some of these enemies has been slightly replaced into something else, which even then though that something might be familiar for the future installments, or possibly from the only time in the actual series or something like that. I'm not 100% sure about this though. Okay, watch out for that Goro right there, and especially those two Bonesy of Waddle Dees. Now they're moving way too fast for this point and onwards, so. Yeah, as far as you might as well see how this will turn out to be, as far as you might see how this will go. Alright, so now it's getting a little bit more trickier with this boss fight, because not only Lololo is going too fast, but also Lalala, she's also going way too fast for that too. And plus, Tyree just trying to able to inhale these little blocks that these two managed to deliver us is a lot more difficult and stingy at the same time to me though, because you need to be really right on with your jump and inhaling type of button to press, because if you jump at the wrong time, or even inhaled at the wrong time, chances are you're gonna get hit a lot in this fight. And even then, though, luckily though, unlike the mid boss, in this case Lololo, that thankfully though he does not deliver that Goro, because even then though, god, Goros is such a, well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure these enemies are by far the most painest enemies I've ever encountered in my whole entire life. I gotta say that much. Because yeah, expecting that when we get to the latest levels, mainly stage 4 and 5, don't expect me for actually getting myself some game overs in this run through, because even though, believe me, this is actually the most difficult mode in the entirety of the Kirby franchise, in my opinion. But again, when we get to the latest future releases, most notably Kirby's Adventure, especially Kirby's Adventure Wii, and even especially noticeable with other Kirby games in the franchise, well, expecting difficulty might actually really catch you off guard, at least at the very end. So, there we go. Now we're done with level 2 now. And yeah, I apologize of how the fact that my capturing software, at least in my gameplay footage right about now, always seems to have those little white lens in the background, but that's how it normally does during the likes of recording device from camera recording. But still, I can't really able to predict for this point, but still. So anyways, here we are folks, in the Float Islands. Now this is where, again, the game starts to get really damn difficult, probably due to different enemy patterns you have to watch out with. And 2 is the fact that, some of these enemies has been slightly replaced. In addition to, cannon shoots out of the water? I don't get that. That's video game logic, I have to say that much. Even then, no reference to Slim Kirby, by the way. By the way, recommend Slim Kirby channel, because at the moment he's practically going to be doing three Let's Plays at the time, which are Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, which is his first ever Mario Luigi RPG game he's going to be tackling through, which, you know, still awesome even to this day, and he's going to be playing for the Wii U version of that particular eShop download, because normally that's how the HDMI capturing software with those. Are you kidding me? You freaking kidding me? That stupid enemy placement just randomly decided to show up. Anyway though, and then another Let's Play he's about to be doing is the forms of one of the most difficult Zelda games he's ever going to be tackling through, and now it's the forms of the Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Good luck on that one, actually, because I haven't really gone back into the Zelda series, at least ever since. I'm still at Triforce Heroes on my own time, and I still have not even completed it yet. But even then, that's only because of how the fact that the single-player experience is the worst part about the game for me for Triforce Heroes on the 3DS. But I really can't say for this much, to be honest. But even then, that's all I can really decide. Are you serious? That Gordo is really out of hand right there. Anyway though, and finally, that perhaps the most recent Mario Party Let's Play is now going to be going back into ever since Mario Party DS, ever since in 2016, and obviously forms of Mario Party Island Tour, since, you know how the fact that 4 years ago actually, almost literally 4 years ago, that Las Vegas Teddy did manage to able to finish up with Mario Party Island Tour 3DS not too while ago, actually for a long time actually. Even then though, I'm afraid that the quality itself is really, you know, something completely random. And also we've missed out some of the extra features, like mainly the puzzle minigames and extra minigames, which I think that was totally his fault for that department right there. But even then, blame on Las Vegas Teddy for doing that. But anyway. So yeah, I'm really surprised how the fact that, well, ever since a year ago, that both Diddy Kong and Pinkie Pie did Mario Party Star Rush for a year ago. So if we thought that we're going to be doing the next Mario Party Let's Play, well, technically Duffy is still going to be continuing on with that terrible Mario Party Advance for the Game Boy Advance. But we decided to able to go through Mario Party the top 100 during this year for the likes of the Let's Play of that game. So even then, that's expecting to see how this is happening. So yeah, that's all I can really talk for this point. So anyways, and about this little cannon right there, as you can see on this little sprite detail, now it shoots rapidly, and also what's even crazy is that he just shoots out in about 180-degree shooting directions. And even then though, that you're going to need to be very careful of that particular cannon though, because that could really throw you off at one point or another, because especially noticeable when if you get to again level 4 and especially level 3, as you can see right there. So yeah. Okay, quick error right there, sorry about that folks. I'm gonna have to like try my best to able to actually kick the likes out of this little bloker right there, which I believe that was the name of this particular boss fight right there. But again, what makes this boss a little bit more tougher compared to the normal game version of this battle is that, as you can see, I did accidentally die due to this random patterns and all that stuff. But again, that's all I can tell. Okay, another quick error right there, because I'm gonna have to like fetch my drink right there because I'm super thirsty at this point. So anyways, back to what I was saying about this fight. What makes this fight a little bit more difficult compared to its normal counterparts is that, again, the timing and especially the pattern aspect is really through the roof. And then as a result, he goes extremely fast. And I was like, chill, just chill out right there. I mean, could you get these chill pills or something? That's just probably just me. But even then, once you get used to it with this fight, then it's not too bad. But again, it gets really difficult and chaotic at the same time, especially when the extra game is involved. So, there we go, that concludes Float Island. So, now we move on to possibly the hardest stage in the game, specifically an extra game, Bubbly Clouds. Because I say that is because, first off, you know how does the fact that we're going to be able to worry about these, Goldos, as you can see here, because obviously it'll just take your health away for quite a lot, for a small extent, as well as that aimless cannon right there. By the way, it depends on what direction you're going to be moving for your Kirby character. The cannon automatically just try to go aim for him, which even then though, that makes it a little bit more well, tougher compared to how it does it in the normal game counterpart. But even then, generally it's more likely the exact same game, but except that it does have some small features here and there. Like when we get to the very end of the game, that expecting there might be something very rewarding after doing so. Oh yeah, by the way, those umbrellas, they normally just try to able to float away, but every now and then they now go into homing on you. Assuming if Waddle Dees, especially Waddle Doos every now and then, decide to go aiming at, well, home in on Kirby. So, and also these buttholes right there, well, not so much for these enemies, but the ones with this really odd-shaped, parts design enemies, seriously, they reminds me like pots for some reason. But, one thing that makes it really off about this enemy right there, that, although it's not so bad here. Oh, by the way, these kinds of enemies is now being replaced as a girl with a boomerang. That's kind of odd decision. Anywho, though. But, still, this is more accurately the more tougher levels in the game, in my opinion. For more accurately, for the extra game mode, so hopefully I don't want to get hit by this little girl with this little, boomerang armor, as you can tell. So hopefully this will be as... What?! Well, that's just lame. I've got, one life left, because as far as you already know, just like how it does it in the, specifically the ones in, how do I want to call it? Oh yeah, these little buttholes right there, what they constantly rotating, they always try to show up everywhere else, and even then, though, I can't really tell if they decide to pop up enough, so even then, though, that can get pretty annoying if you ask me, so even then, though, that, unfortunately, I've lost a little bit of my health. But that's just probably because of how the fact that I wasn't paying too much attention. But when we get to the Kracko Jr. right there, because that's what his original name was, look how ridiculously fast he was. And not to mention, he spewed out cannonballs, and I've accidentally died. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the game over screen looks like. And even the first game over for this majority of the playthrough. I'll meet you guys back in the Kracko Jr. fight. Hi. But if you couldn't tell already, folks, is that I've already lost just only one life at this fight, probably because of how the fact that look how ridiculously fast he's going, and not to mention the pattern itself is a really darn difficult task. And then if you manage to mess up with that one pattern, then it's kiss your health goodbye. So even then though, that can take a lot of tries to able to actually get to this part, especially when the pattern needs to be memorized. So, anyways, let's grab this little cool power up ever since, you know, level 3, or in this case stage 3, if I was might say so for myself. I was supposed to grab this little soda bottle, thank you. Stupid Gordo right there. Yeah, these Gordos are going to be much more intimidating than the likes of the normal version of the game, because you know, it takes a half of your health amount away from it, so, and not to mention, for this sequence right there, they're going to follow you at all times, depends on what, roads you're going to be destroying those little, star blocks, as you can see here, which even then, that can really just catch me off guard at some point. Oh yeah, I need to grab myself my maximum tomato, so that I just want to get myself my health back, after getting hit by the stupid Gordos right there, because oh my god, they always trying to go throw you off guard. Even especially noticeable how the fact that these things are literally everywhere in this majority of the difficulty itself in, you know, extra mode, or in this case extra game, as far as I'm aware. And another thing's worth mentioning though is that I think I haven't sort of mentioned about this actually, is that those stars, as you can see they're falling down on the screen, they're now trying to hurt you. So even then though that I thought that was supposed to be a background image, but turns out they're just somehow hurting you. So even then though, that's the only obstacle you do need to avoid as well. So, anyways, let's see what's up ahead. But even then, I'm hoping I can get myself some 1-ups around here. At least I don't want to get hit too many times. So when we enter this moon over here, and oh my god, let's just avoid those, well, Gordos. Okay, assuming those, well, Gordos is now, the 1-ups, especially the maximum tomato, are both literally replaced by those really terrifying, Gordos, which, still, that's pretty tragic. Okay, sorry for a little bit of a quick edit right there because Rarity did actually ask me about how the fact that we can go on a date to each other. So anywho, so here we go with the actual Kracko fight. So even then, out of all the other bosses I've actually been into, I think this one might actually be the easiest bosses in the game in my opinion for the likes of extra game, because all you have to do is that after when you're just trying to let him try to charge right at you, if you go to the left side and then basically inhale the bomb and then toss it right back at him, and just stand left for the entire time, as you can see here, while dodging for those beam attacks. So that's probably the easiest way you can able to deal with this fight, because normally if you're having a hard time on this fight, as you can tell, I suggest you watch this footage right there, so that way you don't have yourselves a really bad time on this particular fight. As far as you might as well notice that right from the start. But there we go, folks. Here we on to the 5th and, of course, the final stage in Kirby's Dream Land, which is once again Mount Dedede, but even then, yeah. Now, normally in my normal game playthrough, that I normally decide to go from the beginning to the very end of the boss's route, I'm actually going to go in the reverse order this time, because I'm going to be doing with Kracko first, instead of, like, Whispy Woods for, basically for the sake of, like, you know, decision order. So, oh yeah, this is one thing you do need to worry about this, folks, is the fact that, not to mention what those enemies are trying to kick your butt, especially noticeable with these, stars, could be act out as, like, hazardous has been involved, but also, be careful with those, again, Goros right there, because, Gordos, as you can probably imagine, because Gordos real trying to KO you at least one hit. Because if you manage to accidentally touch the Gordos, you're pretty much dead instantly. So you can know that it's kind of like how it does it in the exclusive boss to Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which is the forms of Wuthering Will, that he just automatically KOs you with just one hit and all that have you. If you don't have yourselves your once more equipped, and especially the second chance equipped. But even then though, it's one of those things that you instantly die instantly, so even then, that can get pretty nauseating at one point or another, but I digress. But again, I always go for the Kracko fights first, because again, as far as you saw in this footage, as you can tell from a few seconds ago, he's actually really easy to deal with actually, because due to the pattern I was trying to perform at, and then that way I should be able to kick his butt, no problem. And I believe I'm going to be moving on to I would say, although I don't know why I go enter this Whispy Woods over there, because I was trying to demonstrate this to you of how hard Whispy Woods can do every now and then, especially noticeable how the fact that how much ridiculously difficult or tough, especially with boss patterns, is usually involved, but I digress. As far as level 5 goes in the extra game, you still need to actually obtain yourselves the Kirby figure at one point, so that you would able to actually just, oh, how did that hit me? That's just really unfair. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. If you manage to accidentally touch the, Whispy Woods, he also just trying to hurt you, so even though that kind of feels more accurately the harder version of Whispy Woods, basically. So what I'm going to do instead is just actually going back onto the reverse order while going for the third boss now, or in this case the second boss in the reverse order, which is the Kaboola, which, you know, that's what this third boss is named in this game, so, yeah, not much to tell. I honestly can't really believe how the fact that I managed to dodge those spikes so easily like this. But even though that's only because of how the fact that my hit detection with the spikes placement, is a little bit more safer, as far as I might add. I'm really not 100% sure. But again, this fight is a lot more harder than the likes of the normal version of the playthrough, because again, due to how ridiculously fast he moves, in addition to how much blast radius he's constantly shooting, and plus you need to be really right on with the right pattern here, because if you mess up that one pattern or another, you're seriously gonna get screwed over instantly. So even then, that can really almost try to screw me up, but hey, at least I still managed to survive with just 1 unit of health. So that's pretty cool stuff. And now we're moving on to you know, Lololo and Stupid Mask. By the way, these mask enemies do remind me of Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, as a matter of fact, because every time when you move away from the mask, and then they somehow just trying to turn into an evil side, and now they're just trying to hurt you. Kind of like how it does it for that. However, though, luckily though, these obstacle courses are really short. So even then though, that if you manage to get your game over, I'm kind of guessing now how the fact that you're gonna have to do the entire boss rush again. So even then though, that, well, that could be a kind of a good thing, because the good thing about this is that again, obstacles are really short and easy to actually just go with. Well, at least if you know what you're doing, if you manage to dodge those enemies instantly, because if you don't dodge the enemies at the right time, then you're pretty much gonna get hit a lot, especially with that really devastating Gordo right there, because, well, Gordos are the most dangerous enemies in this extra game. As opposed to in normal mode, that it won't be that much of a problem, but again. So of course, as you expected, that Lolo and Lola, or in this case Lololo and Lalala, will have themselves their own game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. I believe there are 3 installments of Adventures of Lolo for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I believe they only released 2 of them on the Nintendo Wii's Virtual Console, but I don't know if they actually released the 3rd one during the Wii U or something else. But even then, that's as far as I can tell for these parts here. So anyway, okay, let's just see if I can hopefully try to hit him. Ah, I was so close. Oh my god, this is kind of nerve-wracking, because sometimes, again, movements is a little bit too accurate, so, oh shoot. I'm gonna get screwed right over there, especially whenever again, if I get a game over in this particular run through, this is my 2nd game over for this point. I'm pretty sure, oh, there's only 1 more hit point. No! It's always the damn 1 hit point. Oh, Jesus Christ, I really hate you sometimes, Lololo. I really do. This will lead me back to the beginning of stage 5, which this means, yep, I have to redo this whole fights again, so I'll meet you guys back. Alright, come on. Booyah! Eat that! Alright, so now we can able to move on to Whispy Woods, which again, it might be a little bit difficult compared to how it does in a normal campaign, but even then, I would love to be able to actually just jump cut for this level and able to actually get into the actual main boss, but because I only have like 1 unit of health left, I can expect it I might as well take a lose a health, or in this case lose a life right there, because it won't be enough health at the moment for me though, whenever I try to deal with the bosses like this though, so yeah, I just got hit instantly, so that's kind of stinks. Hey. I can't believe how this has been happening though, because, well, it just always sometimes messes my movements, and as far as you might as well noticing that, but even then, that's all I can really come across into this point, folks. That's all I'm trying to say. But anyways, let's go ahead and just demolish that, and hopefully we can able to do with Whispy Woods just as that. And I'm hoping I won't get hit by him a lot of times though, unlike whenever I kept on like, you know, touching his face and then able to actually just count as a hit, but even then, yeah. Okay, so just like last time, just shoot these apples right back at him, and then hopefully it should be just as well. Oh shoot. Stupid Gordos. Gordos are literally everywhere in this mode. And plus, you know, Gordos are the worst enemies in this game, probably due to, you know, way too much damage output. It's way too freaking high, but still, you can't really predict of how this will coming. Oh, here we go, folks, with the final boss in the game again, but this time, he's a lot more aggressive and difficult at the same time, because first off, his moves is extremely fast. And secondly is that, you notice this little hammer technique that King Dedede actually uses? Every time you jump over him, I believe he's now going to be using his hammer to actually just to stop you from nothing else. So, oh, you gotta be kidding me. He's going to be way tougher than the likes of before though, so, yeah. Which I'm not even surprised by, because even then though, that he was supposed to be the final boss in the game, but I was expecting that I would able to, oh shoot. Again, boss battles can get a little bit of tiny practice if you know what you're doing, but, excuse me, that's how the fact that, you're gonna have to be very right on with your toes whenever you're trying to able to, oh shoot. Goodness gracious, King Dedede, just calm down. just get your drink of water or something, and then hopefully you get chilled out there. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, now I realize he now starts to jump, like, twice. Which, yeah, that technique, what King Dedede's moveset, that's heavily borrowed from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and even especially noticeable in the latest Super Smash Bros. Game for the Wii U and 3DS. I was still really hoping if the Nintendo Switch version of Smash 4 were about to be revealed, but I really don't know if the next Nintendo Direct is still going to be showing up yet, but still, I really can't predict at this point. No! Ah, I got caught. I seriously got caught by this abomination. Yeah, what makes this a little bit too off-putting for me? Oh, this is it. Ha! Eat that! Ay. I always lost by him due to the fact that he's only had a shorter amount of health left, and then next thing he knows is that I constantly gonna get screwed over due to that happening. But there we go, folks. That is it for the extra game of Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy. And I'll talk about the overall of the game, actually, before this little credit sequence is about to be shown up. But the ending itself is not much different about it, besides, after this death credit sequence is finished, well, you can definitely see why during after this credit sequence is done. And yeah, I apologize about the fact that I've got constantly amount of, line lengths in the actual, footage, as you can see, but it's because, you know, it's recorded on the 3DS, even then no emulator or anything, so I'm afraid I can't exactly to actually just accepted that. But anyway, overall, Kirby's almost like Kirby's Adventure for some reason. Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy. It was actually a pretty cool game in my opinion. It's probably the coolest things about the entirety of the game is that well, that was before when the latest Kirby games they will start to actually add in copy abilities. But even then, though, this game does a really grand job of the success rate. Sorry for a little bit of a tongue twisting in the end, folks. I do apologize. But despite the fact that how the lack of copy abilities doesn't usually show up, well, until before when Kirby's Adventure is releasing. But even then, still was a really great title to actually have for not only for the Game Boy, but also for the 3DS eShop downloads, which I highly recommend you trying to buy that, especially if you're a huge fan of Kirby series. But even then though, that you should definitely give this a shot. Like, the soundtrack is really enjoyable, and the graphics do look very beautiful, and even then, well, despite it was in black and white, not in color, but again, until Kirby's Adventure came out, then expecting to have color featuring. So, yeah, that's what I could really come across into. And, controls might take a while to get used to, but even then though, it does work though, so, and the story is very simple by the looks of it. So, all in all, Kirby's Dream Land is such a really beautiful game, even for a best start for the Kirby series as a result. Released in 1992, but even then though, Kirby was all, like, you know, it's now been around for 25 years old at this point. Well, since we're still in 2018, so expecting that 26th anniversary of the Kirby franchise will about to be happening. But yeah. And by the way, if you manage to beat the game on Extra Game, you can expect that you're going to be able to see the enemy roll calls over there, very much like how it does in Super Mario World, which even then though, that, except in Super Mario World, that in the Super Mario World game, it's all in color, but in this game it's that, it's all in black and white, and all that, etc. You can also play this game on during the likes of, again, the Super Game Boy for the Super Nintendo if you want to add some color effects, especially noticeable with the Game Boy player, and even Game Boy Advance SP, or Game Boy Color, or even especially noticeable with Game Boy Advance SP. Unfortunately, you can't play this game on the Game Boy Micro, because Game Boy Micro does not have a backwards compatibility with, you know, for the Game Boy or the Game Boy Color, but that's as far as it will go. So as you can see, it contains some of these enemies from not only from the normal game, but also for the extra game as well. So even then, the last enemy of the bunch is definitely King Dedede. And once you pass through that screen, you get yourselves another code you can able to access to. But even then though, this is how it usually says. You are hero. Which, not to be confused, is like where Hercules was now a hero or something like that. Press down B and select on the title screen for the configuration mode and more fun. So what this is that it's kind of like the level select screen in during the likes of the Sonic's Mega Drive titles, but even then, it's kind of like that, except well, it's on the Game Boy basically, and with less buttons. Seriously, I really do love this really well-made animated sequence over there, especially with King Dedede's reaction to Kirby is about to be ultimately victory. But even then, that's a really cool scenes to look at. But even then, that can only happen once you finish the main games. So that's all I can really come across into. So anyways, let's hold down the down button and a B and select button, as you can see here. And basically what you can do in this configuration mode is that you can actually select up to 6 different health bars you want to start off with the game, or how much lives you're going to be holding up to. The maximum you can only hold up to is 9. And the sound test, which is basically you can listen to your background music, and especially these sound effects. So that's pretty cool extra if you want to able to do that. But even then, you can't necessarily try to beat the main game or the extra game to actually get configuration mode, actually. You can just simply unlock these 2 modes from the get-go if you manage the first time playing this. Well, at least if you know the codes already. So, yeah, pretty enjoyable game. You should definitely recommend this for... unfortunately, I don't have the original game cartridge of the game, unfortunately. But I will do it as soon as I can. But even then... definitely recommend us on the 3DS eShop so that you can get some better experience on the entirety of the game. So, thank you so much for guys for watching of our Let's Play of Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy. And this is me, Piglet, from the Maxi Toys. And until next time on the likes of the Kirby Marathon, next up, I believe, Mickey Mouse is going to be doing Kirby's Adventure next for Nintendo Entertainment System. So, I hope you guys do enjoy that Let's Play. And until then, I'll be leaving out. So, see you guys then. Bye.